some of them. You're wasting all your time and money on models. Paint what you have.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Model Club TV, episode 74. How are you, Scott Johansson, on this lovely, stormy evening here in the Chicagoland area? It's tired. Like, people are running for cover in Berwyn, I heard. That's what.
Yeah, it was kind of nasty up there. It wasn't too bad here. It went south and north of me, so.
Yeah, it just kind of rained a little bit here, just a little bit ago.
Well, so, I've got the force field. Have I discussed the force field?
You have discussed the force field.
Well, you know,
God just doesn't hate you as much as me, so everything goes around your house and hits
because
me.
I'm not a Satan worshiper like you.
Oh, okay. There we go. All right, we're back to normal. In focus.
Yeah.
Oh, are you in a mood? What's going on? You all right? Something happened?
Yeah, I'm not the one leaking.
Not today. Not today, you're not. For those of you who follow along on the Discord, please join us over there. Hear Scott's stories of leakage. It'd be awesome.
Let me tell you something. Okay. I'm going to tell you something right now. They did a study. And they found out that diarrhea is hereditary.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it runs in your genes.
All right, speaking of leaking. Oh, boy. Where'd you hear that joke anyway? Like, where did you get that?
Facebook, of course.
All right. Colonoscopy update. I got my results back. Polyp removed. No colon cancer. All good there. Although the echocardiogram came back with some minor leaky heart valves. So dying faster than I thought. So, but that's all right. We'll see.
Here's what happened. They put the tube up his ass. First of all, it took a week to get the smile off his face. Okay. And it got his heart going so fast that he sprung a leak.
Dude, there was some pretty smoking nurses in there for the colonoscopy, and I was just like, what? This is not cool. And my parents drove me. I don't know if I told you this part. I think I did. My parents drove me, and for some reason, my dad was like, they both wanted to like hang out afterwards. And so as I'm coming to, apparently I said, the hot nurse was looking at my ass in front of the nurses. And I was like, wait, what? Well, first, my mom said you said the hot nurse was licking your ass. And I was like, hey, my dad goes, no, he said looking. And I was like, what? In front of all these people. So, yeah, whatever I said to those nurses, I apologize. And I didn't mean it.
Your mom likes all that ass licking. I'm just saying.
Now we're on my mom because we just got off yours. Bam!
Yeah, you have to go about 6 feet under to get off mine. So, but if that's your thing.
I got a shovel. I'm into that kind of stuff.
You probably are. That's the really sad part of it.
All right, we're done. We're going down the wrong path. All right, everybody, it's episode 74. Please like and subscribe. We're getting closer to that magic number. Scott's out of focus every once in a while. We're not going to stop as much for that this time. Please join us on the Discord. There is a link down below. Post your stuff there. Join us for hobby hangouts Saturday nights and whenever you feel like doing it. Redbubble and Spring Links there too.
It's a scene.
It is a scene. And
not that you never go.
No, because every Saturday for the next month I'm booked. But the most important thing right now is the head contest for the Worthling, the Mark Worthling head contest.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the one your mom's in. All right, go ahead.
Nice. Well done. Well done. Please get those in to me by July 30th. Email me those pictures at Model Club TV. Let's get the email.
Oh, the button's working now?
The buttons are working. Things are unbroken this episode. modelclubtv@gmail.com. If you want to leave us a voicemail, it is 708 816 4299. 708 816 4299. We only have one email this episode, and it'll bring us back to our discussion from last week, where evidently I didn't make some people very happy. So
you didn't make any friends.
Yeah.
Well, nothing new there.
I don't need any friends. I'm good. I got enough. But yeah, get those head contest pictures in. We're going to post them over on the Discord once the deadline hits. We'll have the Worthlings judge. We'll throw a what did I do? You holding the joke? You holding the joke? Just keep it held for now so we can keep going. And then we'll have the Worthlings judge, and we'll have a slideshow on the first episode in August. of everyone's. Oh, go ahead. Say the joke. Just let it out. Let it out. You know you
I
want to.
can't. No, I can't.
All right. That's all the bookkeeping in the front.
Your mom don't like when I take pictures.
What is happening today? Oh. All right.
All right.
Our first bit of
What are you drinking from there? What do you got going?
I don't think I can show actually. It might piss me off.
What? What is it?
I grabbed the wrong mug.
Oh, I thought it was
let
Michael
people-
J. Fox.
I'm drinking tea, my black tea. Look at that. Black is my
Okay.
heart.
Oh, okay. Who's on there?
I can't show you.
Why?
I can't
I've
show
seen
you.
it like 3 times. I can't recognize who it is. I thought it was Michael J. Fox.
All right, I'll put this up. Well, but we
Oh.
have a. It's breaking the political rule. I can't.
Just show it like you never do. Oh, it's what's his name?
Yeah, we can't say his name.
Okay. Anyway, I thought it was Michael J. Fox. Looks like Michael J. Fox. I was going to ask if it was a self-stirring cup.
Oh my god, dude! What the heck is going on with you? My grandma died from Parkinson's. It's my biggest fear. Like that. That's what I'm going to end up with. I don't want
Some of
Parkinson's.
your paint jobs look like you got Parkinson's.
What is going on today? All right, let's bring us down.
Hey,
Let's depress
you
the
said-
shit.
Wait.
No,
Let's
you're
hold
right.
on. You said it was going to be a show, and I'm giving it to you.
Oh, I got to show you my new hat. I got a new hat that says "Welcome to the Shit
Oh.
Show." I'll put it on next time. Let's bring it down because we got some bad news. We'll get the horrible bad stuff right off the bat out of the way. We'll do that first. So take it away, Scott.
Last week we got the news that our one-time guest and longtime friend of mine and friend of the show and contributor,
Big contributor
Phil-
in the beginning there.
Phil Kupka, lost his battle with cancer and passed away peacefully at home. There was a service Sunday, and it happened just right after we filmed the last episode, so we couldn't
Like I think we got the phone call that night.
the next day or
Or
2
the
days
next day,
after
yeah.
because you had finished editing.
Yeah, that's what
at
I was
that point.
editing. Well, I just finished editing.
So, we've covered Phil before, and we've covered his history in the hobby and, what he did for Geometric and, just all around good guy, really.
Yeah.
Good organizer out there in the Northwest. Started the little group they have now out
The
there.
Swamp
of
Meet?
guys, the Swamp Meet. And, it got to a point where we knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And, we didn't really want to say that. We knew, we kind of hinted. Sure, everybody figured it out, but yeah, there's not a lot to say other than, we lost another, guy in the hobby, but more important, condolences to his wife, Diane, and his son and his daughter and grandkids and family.
Yeah.
And the extended family out there and the modeling buddies out there, it's a big loss.
Yeah. It's hard. Again, we how many times is this now with the show? It's one of those things I didn't expect to like cover when we decided to do this. Was have to do this kind of news. Never crossed my mind that this would be part of it. And it has now happened quite frequently in the last couple of years. And it's just gonna, as time marches on, it's gonna keep happening. But I think we just,
Oh, and there's people we probably, I think, haven't mentioned as well that have passed. So it's
yeah. And I just
You know,
got some news from another listener today, or yesterday, but I'm gonna leave that private for now. So everybody,
Right.
take care of yourself. Hang in there. It's
and I lost a long time work coworker that was retired also, but we'd all get together, and he was part of our get together group, and he passed, and his wife passed 5 days later.
man.
So it's like, and this was all like within a few days of hearing about Phil. So
And
it's
then,
like,
like, I think after the day after Phil, my cousin died of cancer. So it's just been
so it's getting old stuff.
Yeah, it sucks.
When you bitch about getting old, I can just simply say, and then especially from my own experiences, hey, be glad you're getting old because it beats the alternative. So it's
Yeah. At least you're not
But
getting
again, our
rotten.
condolences to Phil's wife Diane
And the
their
the Garage
family.
Kit community in general. Like
Yeah.
for some people, it's a big loss, and
Oh.
especially West Coast people.
Phil had a long history. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
I'll put a picture up here, but Phil was at the very first Wonderfest. There's a picture of him with Mike Parks, who's no longer here. And I think Terry Webb's in the picture and Phil's in the picture. So and Phil's son was just a little guy at that point. And a lot of those guys all look so young. There's a few of them I recognize, a few of them I don't. Larry Johnson's in the photo, but forgot to put it in our slideshow, but I'll get it to you. So
Yeah. Okay. And people who are just, started watching the show, go back. I'll put up the link to the episode in the description below, where I think Phil was our first guest on the show. Like one of the first, like
he was
if not,
early.
it was either Neil or Phil, one of the two. Like one,
Mhm.
like right there in the beginning. So I'll put a link up to that episode if you want to check out what Phil was all about.
Yeah.
He before he got sick would leave us amazing emails every time, and it sucks. So we're gonna. Phil would want us to keep going, and we're going to. It's hard to make these kind of transitions when we're trying to have a good time and then have a serious conversation like this. So I don't know.
We'll miss you, Phil. We'll miss you.
Yeah.
We already have missed him.
Yep. We have because we haven't got those emails. And it was one of the cool things about doing the show was hearing from him every week, and it stopped. And I'm like, at first I thought it was weird, and then it just kind of, that made sense what was going on. So,
And right up here for me to look at every day is this little 3D printed it that you sent Phil.
mm-hmm.
Because he was and I had said, oh, I want to get an it. So he sent me this and said, hey, I'm sending you this. Will you print me 2 more and send them back? So I did. I printed them 2 more and sent them back. So I look at this every day. It was a nice gift from Phil. I also, when I had my first cancer operation, and I don't know why I did this, Phil had sent me a set of Universal Monster cards, Topps cards from the 90s. And they were in a plastic case. I thought you'd enjoy these, And he wrote the letter on a piece of stationery that was homemade, and it had the old like black and white line art from the Aurora catalogs. It was like the border and stuff, And for some reason, when he sent this, I said, I need to save this. And I did. So I still have it.
Cool.
And so I'm glad I saved it. But Phil was very thoughtful that way. And one of the last transactions we had is I printed a Top Cat kit for him because Top Cat was his wife Diane's favorite cartoon. And he built and painted it and gave it to her for their anniversary. So, there's that as well. But so I got a lot of Phil stories, and again, let's stop doing this. Take care of yourselves, folks. Like I should talk. like fat ass and leaky valves should talk. But here we go.
Got a bad pumper. All right. So we're gonna leave that there. We're gonna move on like things are normal, even though they're not. But our guest this episode is Dan Gardon of Sci-Fi Models and Stuff. So some great stuff in that interview coming up towards the middle of the episode. We promise we will not have an epic Charlton Heston giant long biblical story here for you this episode. I'm going to try and keep it short, but you never know. It might get out of hand.
That being said, though, we had a good reaction to
I think so.
Our last episode, even though it was long.
Yes. We had a lot of views on that episode. I think Jesse stirred up some views.
Yeah, well, your comments did too.
Yeah.
We'll get
Maybe I'll make more. See what happens when I speak my mind. Jam it down. All right. So the next thing is a huge thing. It's been in the works for a while. We've kind of teased it on and off. It is the Model Club TV model kit. And here it is. We showed some pictures before, but it is done. It is ready to go. We want to thank Winner for sculpting this out of the goodness of his heart. Thank you. I mean that sincerely.
Goodness of his heart. Shit, I had to send him some stuff, but that's
But-
okay. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
He did.
So I hot off the printer as of like 5 minutes before I pressed record. I did the last part. We had a small issue with one part, and fixed it, and I had to wait today, and now things are kind of falling apart as I try to go hold it up. So in order to get this, I want to show everybody first. And I took the glasses off of Scott, but here it is. Dun, dun, dun. This is the size that comes off out of the slicer. Bam. It matches the t-shirt. Model Club TV has our names on there. And there's the kit. Now, we'll probably be offering it a little bigger, but this is going to be the standard.
Why do you
size.
keep showing your side, not me?
I'm showing you.
Barely.
What are you talking about?
That's a handsome fucking guy right
And
there.
I took Scott's glasses off because they kept falling off. Now, Scott, I want you to ask at some point, because this sword looks strikingly similar to Sting, which is a sword from Lord of the Rings, even though it's pretty big, or Glamdring maybe. So perhaps he gave you a Lord of the Rings sword. You might want to check on that. But here's how
you you know what that is?
What is it?
Let's just call it a prehistoric killer.
Nice. So there's some add-on pieces. There's a Viking helmet for Scott, a wizard hat for me. You can see those in these pictures here. But here's how you get it. It's going to be free. There will be a link.
The STL is going to be free.
The STL will be free. So if you want to, this is kind of what we wanted, since, we really did this for us. We're not this is not a money-making thing for us. If you want to learn how to 3D print, it is going to be available in the description below this video to a link to a Google Drive, and you'll be able to download all the files for yourself and print it. Okay. If you need me or Scott to print it, it'll be like $20, I think, when I was kind of going through. Don't hold me to that. It's like $20, I think, to print this little thing. If we haven't done a bigger one yet, so we're not sure on that sort of thing, but the standard one, I think, will be $20 plus shipping is kind of how it is. It'll kind of cover everything. But dude, I love it. It turned out so good. Get you a little closer there. Where's the glasses keep falling off, but there's Scott. I love it. Thank you, and thank you everybody who kind of gave the idea that we should do this. There were some people in there involved, and then
I'm going to tell you something. If I see one of these in the Wonderfest contest next year,
that'd be
I'm
awesome.
done.
Well, I was thinking after this Mark's Head contest, we might have our own little contest with just this. So we'll get into that. Also, I'm going to make this available over on my Mini Factory and I think Cults and CG Trader for free as kind of like a promo item. So if you don't want to download it from our link, eventually it will be there. But in the beginning, you're just going to have to get it through the show links, or I'll have a link on Discord. But the Model Club TV kit is here. And how crazy is that, dude? I never thought in a million years there'd be little yous and me's. So there we go.
I want to tell people what happened today.
All right, go ahead.
You can put the picture up here. So Jason prints the whole thing. And the arm holding the mug, okay, comes out big. All right. I mean, like
there it is. Wait.
Okay.
Comes out as big as the whole figure.
Okay. So.
And I hadn't noticed. I was like, wait, what?
So we got a hold of Well, and he fixed it right away. And I told Jason about this. What it reminded me of, for those of you that watch King of Queens, there was an episode where the one couple gave Carrie and Doug as a gift, kind of a revenge gift, a portrait they had done of them. And her arm was like coming around the front, and it was like twice the size of that it should have been, with a big man hand. Okay. If I can find an image, maybe we'll put it up here. Okay. So as soon as I saw that, that's what this reminded me of.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Check the link down below to download the files and print away, and then send us pictures of your finished kits. We may have a painting contest at some point. So keep that in mind. And we're moving on.
All right. Our next slide I added. So
what is this?
So I keep seeing. I use Elegoo standard resin. Okay, it works for me. Jason doesn't like it. A lot of people like.
I've been using Sunlu and I'm loving it.
Sunlu. So I mean, there's different brands. So there's no right or wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. But Elegoo has come out with a version 2 standard gray resin. And I've asked on their site 100 times, what's the difference? And no one can answer. So I contacted customer service and I was given the following. Reduce shrinkage. Okay. Which means you can take it in the pool. Easier to clean, improved accuracy, lower odor. So I may try some.
I may try it too, because the odor is the big thing for me with Elegoo, is it stings too much for me.
So for those of you that have wondered, here's an answer.
Cool.
Directly from customer service. So I just wanted to put this in here so I didn't forget it. So I'll try it. All right.
We have a giveaway. We have a giveaway,
we haven't
Scott.
giveaway in a while, have we?
No, it's been a little bit. And right now, the prize closet is packed. We have a ton of stuff to give away. So as of right now, everybody hold off on sending anything until we get all this stuff out the door. The first one we're going to do is from Paul Gill of Gillman Productions. Buttons are working today, so I'm going to pull that up. Links, friends. Paul Gill of Gillman Productions. Thank you very much. And so this is sculpted by, let me get this back. Sculpted by Michael White. And it says Alien Bust. Okay. That's mine. This is the one we're giving away. So I had purchased one as well. So I have 2 aliens right here. This is the one we're going to be giving away. It comes with the base. And it is a great little alien bust. I think lends itself to many painting possibilities. There is absolutely zero cleanup on this. It's glue it to the peg and you are ready to go. I really like this as an alien bust. I like the way he sculpted the angles in the face, and I really like the expression. It's just kind of no expression, which makes it a little scarier and maybe even a little angry with that downturned mouth. But great little alien bust, total painter's piece. How do we want to give this away, Scott?
How about aliens are real in the comments?
Okay. Aliens are real. And then I'll put you in the drawing and I think, do we have any restrictions? It's been a while.
No, it's been a while.
Yeah, everybody, we're starting over. If you've won something recently, you're back in. Everybody can get in for the giveaway from Gillman Productions, sculpted by Michael White. Beautiful little alien bust. Great, great, great painter's piece. So no cleanup, ready to go. And you'll be getting the gray one. All right. Next. Take it away, Scott.
Why don't you want the gray one?
What?
Why don't you want the gray one?
I want the flesh-colored one. I'm going to try something.
Okay. All right. I just wonder. Before we go into these next two, it was brought to my attention that there is what I want to call one of these Chinese rip-off sites.
We're going to get flagged for that. Watch.
I don't care. Anyway,
I don't either.
They're selling David Stan's Frankenstein bust. Painted.
But here's the thing: are they selling it or just using his?
No,
image?
they're not. There's no.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell a story.
Go ahead.
So David's Frankenstein bust for was it $29.99?
$39.
$39.99. Whatever it is. Painted for $39.99. Use his name. Okay. Use his images on their ad. Okay. Don't fall for this. Okay.
Yeah.
And let me tell you why. Not last Christmas, Christmas before. Hallmark came out with this beauty. Okay. But this is fun too. I love this one.
The battery dead? This makes for some fascinating television. That is very cool.
Okay, so anyway, So I saw that thing, and Hallmark was selling them for like, they were $59 or whatever. And you couldn't get one. You couldn't touch one. So they started to go on eBay, shot up to 100 right away. And I'm like, I'm not paying 100. It just came out. Fuck that. Okay. So I held out. Well, one of those ads came across my feed because, of course, it fed into my algorithm, and it looked like, it looked legit. They showed this very same one. I said, I'm going to try it just for the hell of it. So I sent $40. It said, it ships in 2 weeks and blah, blah, blah. So obviously it never shipped in 2 weeks. And I filed a PayPal claim, and I got my money back. So long story short, I ended up paying almost $200 for one at the time, or $175, because my cheap ass didn't want to pay $100. So, but I'll pay it. So anyway, so I do have. All of a sudden, one day in the mail comes this DHL envelope from China. Okay. It's got a box with cheap styrofoam. You open it up. I think I have pictures somewhere. If I do, I'll send them to you and post them. And it's this solid cast in resin. It must have weighed 10 pounds. Crappily painted. No device. No nothing. Okay. So, again, don't fall for those scams. If it looks too good to be true, the old saying,
Probably is.
it probably is. So there you go.
So to highlight Stan Arts.
So Stan Arts, I did talk to Laura Stan about it because there was another issue going on, but I think her and I are in agreement on it. But David is starting to get the painted Elsas out, just so everyone knows. And again, please buy from these people because they're awesome. And I've only communicated with her on the phone prior to speaking to her Sunday. I can simply say she is just as nice on the phone as she is to deal with. I mean, she is everything. They are everything that is right about the Garage Kid hobby.
Yep, absolutely.
So anyway, what we have here is Tim Casey. Painted Dave's lab, Stan Art lab, along with some John Tucky kits and a Matthew Lawrence nameplate. And it looks like on the left side, some added stuff as well.
Great diorama. Really well done.
It's beautiful. And what people don't know is what he did there on the side. I think is this thing in the movie when he was listening to see what the lightning storm was going to be, and it's going to be fabulous, and so anyway, 4 great Jaeger pieces there. I think they've all been re-released now. I'm not sure. I think they all have been. And again, a beautiful paint job on David's base. I don't know if that's David's. I don't think that's David's floor and wall. I think Tim did that himself. But
yeah. No, it's gorgeous. Simply gorgeous.
We're gonna show David's
this
ride
kills
here
me
as well. It's beautiful.
The eyes on that are nuts. They're nuts.
This is his paint job. Okay. And I'm gonna tell you, for anybody that wants to buy anything painted by him that they offer, okay, you're getting a deal. I'm just gonna tell you right now, you're getting a deal. And I may have ruined it for some of you because I basically told her he's painting for way too cheap. Okay.
So get in before he changes his mind.
Get in before he changes his mind. This is a beautiful sculpt. I should own it. I don't know why I don't own it. I don't know why. I just, how many more kits do I need? And it's a good sized kit, but it is beautiful. I love it. Great people. Check them out. I think they're on Etsy. I think they have a website as well.
Yep.
Do they have
all links down below for Stan Art.
Okay, all links down below. There's talk. I guess a lot of people have asked him to make this into a bust. And he's very reluctant because the dress is beautiful, the way it drapes down and everything. Okay. But I may have helped nudge that a little bit too, because I said, I think that's a great idea. I've said it many times. Make the most of your sculpts. Okay. And if you can make a bust out of it,
yeah,
man, for it.
Absolutely. I think a simple just V bust, like a V neck kind of thing on here would be great. It might be one of the best.
I think you could
Elsa's
leave the
ever.
arms too, though. I think you could go as low as.
Oh, you want to do that? Okay.
You could.
Yeah.
So, but it's a beautiful piece.
Yeah, it really is. All right, let's get into regular news and reviews. Make your noise, Scott. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna let you take most of these. Danny Sirocco is back with some new stuff for Dimensional Designs. And first up, what do we have, Scott?
So first off, I guess we have the monster in the sulfur.
Coming out the sulfur, right?
Coming out of the sulfur. Comes with 2 heads. It's the monster coming out of the sulfur pit after in Ghost of Frankenstein.
No, I thought coming out in Ghost of Frankenstein.
Yes.
This
is when the
Son
lightning
of
hits
Frankenstein,
the
he
wall.
falls in the sulfur at the end, right?
Right.
Okay.
But the sulfur kept him alive.
And
it's
changed
deadly
his
for
face
every other thing on
drastically.
the planet, but yeah, it's deadly for every other thing on the planet, but this apparently. But the monster, of course, because the monster never dies. Let's be honest.
The monster never dies. No, it's a great piece. Very simple. Well done.
Fun. This is cool. Nice concept. Again, something never been done before.
I was just gonna say, I don't think I've ever seen it done before. So,
which moves on to the next one, which is Lon Chaney Jr. from Ghost of Frankenstein. And now this is one of 2 ways you can get this kit. Okay. So, sculpted by Gabriel Garcia, because you didn't have the information, but I went and got it, like always. And you can buy this kit, and this is kind of reminiscent, I guess, of the end scene where he's like, I kill, I've ruled the world, when the monster was talking with Lugosi's voice, it was silly. So, that's a Ghost of Frankenstein. And then if you want the deluxe comes with different hands. When the monster was chained to the chair and he broke out, and the other Dr. Frankenstein, the brother, Ludwig Frankenstein, was in the courtroom and came and stood over him, and the monster held the chains over him and like recognized him. This was, again, after Son of Frankenstein, they started to get a little crazy. But anyway, the likeness here on the Ludwig is great, I think. And so this is a 2-figure kit, also available from Danny. And
he had these all at Wonderfest. Everything.
Yeah,
I
didn't get to see him in person, but you did. And but yeah, they're cool. They're really cool. And then the last one is Son of Dracula, Count Aculard, which is Dracula backwards for those of you that. This is sculpted by Sean Sansom.
It's a great likeness too.
And again, yes, it's another nice piece. And
you don't see many of these, do you? Like, I don't.
No. As a matter of fact, and I'm not sure. I'd have to check. I'd have to double check. Someone can probably, Trotch or somebody could probably correct us. I don't think John Tucky even ever did a Chaney Jr. as
Dracula.
And I got to tell you, it's, a lot of these sequels and stuff were kind of silly. This one actually wasn't horrible. I mean, there were some things you didn't quite understand. There were things that were hokey about it, sure. Okay. But this one actually, if you haven't seen it in a while, really wasn't bad.
No.
Really wasn't
It's
bad.
on Svengoolie. I think Svengoolie does it almost like once a year.
Does everything once a year, I think.
True. I think so.
I don't know, right now they're in a movie kick that, like, I haven't seen anything that's even remotely that I want to watch. So,
yeah. But no, this is really, and it's great to see Danny doing stuff like this again. Danny, we want you on the show.
Danny is a great storyteller.
Here.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know Danny, he's got a great story. First of all, and I'll give it to everyone just quick, and if Danny ever comes on, he can tell the whole story. What?
We can't tell this story? We're not telling this story.
Why?
We're going to let him tell this story.
Okay.
We're not telling
Anyway, Sirocco gets booted off the plane. Has to wait 5 hours for the next plane.
I'm cutting it. There's no more.
Next up,
Well, winner. We are just
Well,
talking
winner.
about them, and here we have some more again.
So, the first few are some works in progress. And I think they're for his Patreon as well. And the first one is, do you know?
Tarzan.
Tarzan, yes.
Yep.
And if you're a fan of this movie, this is an awesome piece. Man, I don't know that I'd want to print it, but because that tree, that wave tree thing would
That should be all right. Angle it.
be crazy. But yeah, you just have to
Side,
break it
turn
into
it. Should be
pieces.
good.
But
No,
yeah,
that's a
so
cool piece.
one thing about Wells stuff, just so everyone knows, it usually fits together really well, unless the arm's too big or whatever. But and if it doesn't, he fixes it. So
just taking these, everything slotted together perfectly. Perfectly.
The next one is a 90% done next banana split Snorky.
Okay.
Now, if people look at this and say this isn't the Snorky they remember, there were two Snorkies. So there was a different Snorky costume for seasons 2 and 3, I think. This is the season 1 costume.
Okay.
That I always liked better than the other one, and that's why I told him to do this one. But
people are gonna be mad at you.
Hey, you know what? If you want the other one, let us know, and maybe he'll do the other one. I don't know.
Okay, this next thing, is this Gary Coleman?
Yes. So this next thing is Gary Coleman. So I guess there was a Gary Coleman cartoon. He told me today that it was really big down there. Okay. That the Gary Coleman show was really big down there. So yes, this is a Gary Coleman thing, tribute thing that he's got coming.
Wow.
And yeah.
What you talking about, Willis? And the
next one, I think you know that. I think this is
a little Thelma.
Little Thelma from the Little Scooby-Doo series.
A pup named Scooby-Doo and a Daphne.
And a Daphne. Daphne looks like it's done, so it's going to be available soon, I think.
Okay.
If it isn't already. Okay.
And I think his big one this time, the genie.
I love the genie.
Yeah.
This is from the beginning sequence. And I love it. I love it. As a matter of fact, I think I bought it. So if I didn't, I will. But
and then what's this sneak peek?
Really great. So the sneak peek. So notice Jason says, "What's this sneak peek?" All right. I'm gonna leave it right here. Okay. I'm just curious. Who can guess? And we'll see in the comments. And if no one, and I'll tell you guys next week who that is. But
okay.
We'll guess. I'll tell you off camera afterwards.
Okay.
There we go.
Hope. No.
All right. So.
All right, the Worthlings. Wait, let me get the buttons ready. Pestilence Labs.
Pestilence Labs.
Buttons are working today. Buttons are working, everybody.
Pestilence. Is very close to release, getting this. He's got castings coming very soon of this beauty that he purchased from another producer, and took a while for him to get it out, but it's finally out. I remember when the other producer had this.
Yep.
You and I both commented how this was really nice, had that lean forward kind of thing going on. And well, lo and behold, what have we here?
Uh-oh.
Okay.
How did you get one?
Here? What we have here is get this bad boy.
How did you get one early?
I got, because I'm Model Club TV.
Okay. That's right. You're a Model Club.
Hey, hold on. So anyway, look at the detail on the hands, huh?
Yeah, those are nice.
Beautiful, aren't they?
Get in close on the face. Let's see that up close.
Hold on, I'll get the other hand. Okay, we got that.
Is she doing the shocker? Is that a shocker?
No. And again, everything fits beautifully. Beautifully casted, by the way. By look at the hair.
Yeah.
And beautifully cast, by the way, by Brad Worley. Whirly Bird. And then here's the base. Okay, so fantastic. So I got this today.
Just unwrapped. Nice.
and I unwrapped it. I just unwrapped it before we came on. And what I'm going to do, even though it might get dark, let's see, is I'm going to turn my camera here just so everyone can kind of see. There she is.
Yeah. Put your hand right there so people get a scale size. There you go. Okay.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, if this is bigger than 1/6. This is let's see, on the base, she's 12.5 inches tall.
Okay. Yeah, so a little bigger. She would have been shorter.
Depends on the bodies they robbed.
Yeah.
But beautiful kit from Pestilence Labs. It's coming. Get a hold of them for the price. I forgot what he's trying to sell. You know, I don't. Jeff Yeager sculpt, again, another beauty. It came today, and when I opened it, I was like, wow, this is just beautifully cast. I love kits like this. Like you just said on Paul's kit. Ready to build right out of the box.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do. There's literally nothing to do.
Another great kit from Pestilence Labs. Well done, guys.
Pestilence Labs. I got number 1 because I'm special. Okay. It's been.
Why do you even give them like this ammo? Like, why do people continue to give you this ability to say, I'm number 1, over and over?
Well, sometimes people need to know it because you know why? I'll tell you why.
Because I forget.
You do forget. Okay.
And I need to be reminded. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Without me, this shows nothing. So anyway, great job by Jeff Yeager. Great job by Brad Worley. Great job by Mark Worthling and Shanna Worthling
for bringing it back.
Bringing it back. Well, or for bringing it from the dead, basically.
Yeah.
There's a long story there, but it's here. And, you know, 2 beautiful Bride of Frankenstein kits in one episode. And they're both different and they're both awesome.
Yeah.
So.
Agreed. Next up, we have from Paul Gill and Gillman Productions. We have Windows is the name of this kit. And it is in the series of the thing. You know what I'm talking about?
It's a movie, isn't it?
Yeah. But I don't, Paul gets weird about his words. So Windows, here we have the creature eating that dude. Fits right in with the rest of them. Another Jeff Yeager sculpt. Well done. Beautifully done. This is going to sell like hotcakes for him, I'm sure. And go right along with the rest of those, with everybody else. Great stuff. Great stuff.
Yeah, I like that Paul does. And again, I haven't seen this movie, so I get a lot of shit about it. But I love that Paul likes to do, like he did with the Blade Runner series, the supporting characters as well.
Yeah.
Not just main person, the supporting characters. And sometimes I guess that would work, sometimes not. But in this case, for sure.
Yeah, no, it totally works. It is an ensemble cast. The cast of that whole movie matters. And I think the fact that he's doing everybody is a great idea. So well done, Paul and Jeff. Next up from Paul is the Ancient One, sculpted by Jesse Rubin. And this actually looks bigger in person because I'll have to put a picture up of, there it is. There's the back. There's fingers holding the bat on the back. But I have one where you can tell it's bigger than you think it is. This is a nice vampire bust. Again, pure painter's piece. And if I know Paul's casting, it's going to come ready to go. Just plug it into that base and you're going to be ready to paint. So there's tons of ways you could do this. You could do a dead, old, kind of more normal skin tones. Do cool effects with the eyes, like the veining. You could go wild on that too. So great piece. The Ancient One from Gillman.
I like this base.
Yeah, it is a cool base.
It's like a tomb door,
little
right?
mausoleum. Yep.
But yet, no, when you look at it from the side, it looks like a coffin.
Oh yeah, it does.
Like it's got a handle there, or is that a window?
It might be a
No, it's a window. Yeah,
is it a
it is a
okay.
window. But it does have a coffin shape, kind of, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
So that's why when I looked at it, again, I'm looking at a smaller picture. Don't kill me, Paul.
No, I really like this piece.
But he showed me this the other day, and it's like, I said, "Is that Jason Walker?" No, actually, what I did ask him is that another movie I haven't seen? So
probably. So we have that. And then finally, sculpted by Michael White, Garidian is the new in his fantasy space movie series of the kind of more ancillary characters. And I think from the very first one, this was, I think, a lot of people's favorite character who you never really saw again. And it was just very fleeting, really strange costume. The way it spoke was very memorable. But if you know what you're looking at here, you know what it is. And I think
snitches get stitches, pal.
Yep. And it fits perfectly in with the other things he's done in this series as well. And I can't wait for this to come out. So
this is a really nice looking piece.
Yep. And we showed this a while ago, but I think it's finally ready. It's getting there. So, whew, that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff. Did you get anything else in the mail?
Yes, I did. Well, I totally forgot. So, again, my secret admirer, Bill Wilson, from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Did you get more stuff?
Yes. And we got a Bigfoot sticker in the back, believe. And those of you that watch our Discord will understand.
You're going to put that on the inside of your bathroom door? Are you pooping?
I should. My wife would kill me. I'm going to do that. Thanks for.
And don't tell her. Just have it there so she sees it.
No, I'm going to wait till we have a party. I'm going to stick it on the back of the door. So.
All right. I got two things in the mail I want to talk about. Well, not kind of. I got one at Wonderfest, and I picked up the second one with my pre-order. So it's the X Plus Gamma, $19.99. I just did a video. It'll be going live. It'll be up by the time this is up. Just an unboxing of this. And I bought two of these thinking there was an alternate build. I was wrong. I think that's going to be like a different edition of the kit because I saw pictures where the arm was cut and it was green and gooey. Those pieces aren't in here. So don't make the mistake that I did. It's only just the straight Gamma that's in this kit. And if you watch my video, the shell, like the little bits of the shell, like the links, the scales links are all separate pieces. So it's not just one piece for the shell. You have to puzzle piece every little like kind of link into there. Actually, I could show you real quick. So the shell comes like this with all those pieces off, and they're all numbered, and you have to plug them in to make the shell look like it's supposed to.
Have fun with that.
So when I saw it, I was like, oh no, that's a lot of work, but that's cool. The only problem and I said this in my unboxing too, it is very small. It's only 1/700 scale. So it's only about like this big when it's done. It's pretty tiny, but it is.
Well, there's not too many turtles bigger than that.
Yeah, I know. It is a life-size turtle almost, but box art's fantastic. Great little piece. So I have an extra one now. See what happens. My next, this came the day before Wonderfest. The Guanji from Star Wars.
I didn't know you bought the Guanji.
I got the Guanji. And this is just as good as the other ones.
They got a shot for that.
You what?
They got a shot for that. If you've got the Guanji, they got a shot for that.
I think I got that shot already. There's the head. And I have a video in progress. This will be up as well. By the time this video goes live, the Guanji unboxing will be up there too. So I got that. Really cool. Just as good as the rest of the other ones that came out. Can't complain. I love the Star Ace stuff. I think that's it for news and reviews. All right, Workbench. Got anything for Workbench, Scott? You have nothing for the Workbench?
No.
I have one thing, but I got to go get it from the other room. But I do have this. I bought, it kind of fits into news and reviews, but Workbench. I bought the new transparent colors from Pro Acryl. Haven't had a chance to try them yet. So that's exciting a little bit. And then Chuck Hamoka sent me a thing on the UV putty from Green Stuff World. And I tried to get it at a place I was at and they didn't have it in stock. So I'm going to try and order some and show it on the show. But it's a putty that you cure with UV light, with the UV flashlight.
Wow.
And it was like the stuff they were doing with it was really cool. There's a video I'll link down below from Green Stuff World's website or YouTube channel. And you can do like water effects with it to make like the ripples in the water like it's a clear putty. and you can seam kits with it. And yeah, like he thought you might be able to fill holes with it for the resin prints for the drain holes and things. So I'll get some and give it a try. I did get this yesterday in the mail. It's one of my Amazon purchases for the week. I've been using this plastic putty from Vallejo on and off for certain things, and it comes in a tube with a really skinny nozzle, and it clogs up.
Does it come in a bottle too, though? Does it come 2 ways, or?
So I didn't know it came in the bottle. I thought it only came in this, and it kept like clogging on me and all this stuff. And when I squeeze it, it squeezes out the bottom of the metal tube. And then I saw it comes in a dropper bottle yesterday. So I ordered 2 bottles of the dropper bottle version so that I don't have problems with the clog anymore. I'm going to go grab the other thing and I'll be right back.
And I'll sit here and twiddle my thumb.
So a couple episodes I mentioned, or no, I think it was last episode. I mentioned the Vallejo spray can, thinking it was a good Godzilla color, maybe, which was like it's called bronze green. And so I sprayed my Godzilla bust with it. This is from Gambody, and I printed it on the Jupiter in many pieces, and the base is done in FDM. So this, it's hard to see because of the shadows and stuff, but I don't think it's a good Godzilla color. It's a little too green in the right light. I think it needs to be a little more gray. I think it's a great, maybe just plain, if you're trying to base coat something fast and go over it, I think it kind of works well for that, but I'm not sure of it as a base Godzilla color. It's a little too green for me, but it's great. I love the way those colors dry.
That's a big piece.
Isn't that cool? My little boy. My little baby.
Now, do you find painting something like that easier?
No. It's about the same. Yeah, I love this. It's cool. This is from Godzilla's Singular Point. So.
Oh, and you're leaving all the holes in the back, huh?
Well, no. I planned for this. Well, when I was printing this, I was very dumb. And I was like, oh, that's the flat part. You're never going to see that. But then the way it sits on the base, you see the holes. So I'm going to take some felt and cover this up later on with that. So my other complaint about this piece, you can see it, but it's missing, like, it would be like a half spine right here. Like if you were to cut this, like half a spine would be there. And so they just left it off, which kind of... Goblin's Hut. I got the yellow rust from Goblin's Hut the other day. Sent it to Mark sent it to me in the mail to try out. I'll have a video up of using the yellow rust from Dirty Down. So if you're still buying your Dirty Down, use the promo code MCTV, all caps. Those links will be down below as well. I love the Dirty Down stuff, and I can't wait to try the yellow rust. So that video will be coming next week of trying out the yellow rust. Promise.
Dirty Down, Thunder Jeep.
And the last thing I want to talk about, this isn't so much of a workbench video. I didn't know where to put this in this episode. But the Painting Phase is a YouTube channel. And the main guy on there is Peachy. And he's a former Games Workshop employee. So they kind of get into the nuts and bolts of some of the inner workings of Games Workshop. And I think this is one of the, take us out of the equation. It was one of the best hobby interview episodes I had seen in a very, very long time. And he had one of the lead product designers for Games Workshop on, who had left in 2016. So they kind of spilled the beans on a lot of things, like why they use paint pots and not dropper bottles, how they manufacture the paint, how they come up with the names for the paint, why certain tools get made and certain tools don't, and how they tested out some of those tools, the mold line scraper, how that came to be, and like how they talk about just like why white sucks as a paint, like why it, like, to manufacture and to use as a paint, and why yellow sucks. Like there was a lot of really good color theory stuff in there. So if you're interested, I'll put a link down below. It is, even if you're not a Games Workshop fan and you just like hobby tools, it is a huge hobby tool discussion and how things are designed and manufactured. And I really, really, really enjoyed it. So I want people to kind of head over there, check it out. They have far more subscribers than we do. So I'm sure like many people have already seen it, but great episode over there on painting.
Do you have the seam scrape?
I do. And I love it. I did a video on it on this channel or my channel, one of the two.
Yeah, I don't watch it.
Oh, but I did you watch The Last Model in a Movie?
Are you kidding me? I wouldn't have watched that human toe fungus for all the fucking tea in China. Okay. That fucking Ryan Tannehill look-alike. All
Wait,
right.
what's Ryan Tannehill?
That's that quarterback I showed you the other day.
Oh, okay. All right.
I said, doesn't this look like Brian Clark?
Yeah, it does.
And what did Jason say? He goes, yeah, it kind of does. So
I just don't know my quarterbacks. All right, time for our interview. We have Dan Gardon of Sci-Fi Models and Stuff. Great conversation again about producing model kits, his taste in things, how they came to be, design choices, sculptors, inner workings of some things. Great interview. Dan's a great guy. And please, we're trying to help him out. So as you get in there, there's going to be an opportunity to help out Dan. We got to get those Edgars sold. So follow along. There's a very nice price cut in there for Model Club TV people. So let's get in there. Welcome, Dan, to the show. Here we go. Here's the interview. Hello, everyone. We are back with Dan Gardon. Dan, how are you, sir?
Doing good. Thank you guys so much for having me.
And Dan is of Sci-Fi Models and Stuff. What a great name. I like the "and stuff" is like the best thing I've heard in a long time. So
I'm really glad you like that, because like my wife hates it, my sales guy hates it, my marketing marketing director hates it. But it started with an Instagram name, and maybe you guys ran through the same thing, but it's really often hard to pick like a username if there's not something that you've used since like 2001 or whatever, right? So like I knew I was going to post sci-fi models, but I didn't want that to be like all of it. So and stuff.
And stuff works perfectly. It's a catch-all. Everything fits in
back to my sales guy, my marketing guy, my wife. How many people are in this company? Because
I just say that to sound important. So basically how it works, Scott, right? So there's me, who does all the work, and then I have my wife, who helps run the table, and my sister-in-law, who also helps run the table, who you guys might have met, who just happens to have a background in marketing. So I like made her this plaque that says like director of marketing, sci-fi models and stuff, all that good stuff.
Boy, I bet that's hanging prominently in her office right now.
Exactly. My other sister-in-law is a lawyer, so she does all my contracts, all my legal work. And then my brother-in-law is like a sales guy for a tech company or whatever. So it's like the true family business where I just like run all this stuff by unwilling participants. And like every once in a while they like give me some advice.
For no pay.
Yeah, exactly.
See, Scott, you're not the only one. You're not the only one.
Yeah.
And we're not even related, which thank God. Oh my.
Not yet. I mean, you were saying you're not married yet.
Yeah.
Scott's probably got like a sister or something.
Damn.
Well, I've got a 42-year-old stepdaughter.
That might work.
I don't want to be part of the Johansson clan. I don't think that's the best way. All right, man. How'd you get into this? Like, how long you been at it? What was the first thing you ever did? Where'd you grow up? Where do you live? Like, where do you live? Where in the country?
So I'm a good old Michigan boy at heart. From what I understand, you guys are like in Illinois somewhere.
Yeah, we're over there.
I got a little bit of beef with Illinois, but we don't have.
We got beef with Michigan too, so let's go.
Is it
we got beef with Illinois though too?
Stuff.
Yeah.
Are you going to show us the mitten? Like where on the mitten are you?
Let me put the mic down. So y'all know about the mitten. So for reference, for those in Illinois who may not be educated, Detroit over here.
Yeah, it's the thumb pit, right? Like right there.
Yeah, that's no good. I don't mess with that. I'm like down here, like maybe an hour north of Ohio. Super small town. About the only thing that relates to the hobby is in another super small town about 20 minutes away was this hobby shop called J Bar Hobbies, and it's like legendary. I mean, it's huge. It's one of the biggest hobby shops in the country, I think. And it's like in the world's smallest like grandma town.
Okay, where is it for real? Like
Tecumseh, Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah, you might have to look at the spelling, but like the general.
So I always say when you showed me the mitten.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So because I've driven to Detroit a few times for work.
Okay.
Ann Arbor's kind of like in the middle, yes? I mean, sorry.
Relatively, like a little bit further east, but yeah, like basically right there. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, I currently live in North Carolina.
Okay.
So there is a pretty sizable like contingent of like resin heads down here. Like David Bennett lives in Raleigh. He's a couple hours away. Troy,
McDevitt.
McDivitt.
McDivitt. Yep.
Yep.
He's right
Wasn't
in
he
the
a
area.
Michigan guy too, though? Wasn't he a Michigan guy?
I don't know. I never talked to him about that.
I'm gonna have to ask.
Quarantine Studios is like right down the road. So the guys from Quarantine were in my local like IPMS club here. So
That's pretty
good
cool.
environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Crazy Joe. Crazy Joe lives like right over there.
Oh, we're sorry.
Sorry, we're sorry.
You know,
Well, right there,
Uh,
we're sorry about that one.
And,
I got a soft spot for Crazy Joe. You know,
we all do. He's got a soft spot too.
On his head, it never closed.
Yeah, I think it's here. Rotundi lives down there now too. Rob Rotundi from Needful Things is down.
Oh yeah. So that's actually the first time I've heard of his last name because it's not on his Facebook. And like I've hung out with him a couple times. I guess I just never thought to ask his last name. But yeah, the guy Rob from Needful Things. But yeah, so I think like a lot of people, I started like doing plastic kits when I was a kid. And I
How
took,
old a
like,
guy are you? Are you my age or Scott's age? Or
a
younger?
little bit younger, maybe. I'm 34.
Okay.
So,
way younger. All right.
I mean, way younger than Scott. I mean,
Yeah, that's for sure.
What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know. You said you got a 42-year-old stepdaughter, so
I might have married I might have got cougared.
maybe. I hope you did.
I did.
I'm rooting for you.
10 months older than me.
Oh, okay.
She had a child very young, so
That's all. But yeah, like like a lot of people, I took like a good 20-year break for models,
Yeah.
right? And what really got me back in was Industria Mechanica. It's a resin garage kit company.
Yep.
It is now defunct, but it ran for a good 10 years. Michael Fichtenmeyer did a bunch of just like original sci-fi concepts.
Some
just,
of
like,
the best kits that were out there.
Oh
in
my
that
god!
period of
Yeah,
time.
I got
Like,
them all. I got literally right behind my camera. I have his Frankenstein. I
was just gonna building that was a dream. Like, I just love that piece. There's so much cool detail in there, and the engineering on it is just so good.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, mine has a bunch of missing parts.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, like a grip of missing parts, like 10 major missing parts. I paid a ton of money for it because, like, obviously, like, I don't think it ever got the full release. Like, I think he did like a half release, and then there was like some recasting issues and piracy stuff going on.
Yeah.
And, anyways, yeah, he was a great producer. I bought about just everything he ever made. And a couple of years ago, I decided to get into the production game myself. And it actually started at Wonderfest. So my first year at Wonderfest was maybe like 2018 or maybe 17. And I didn't know what to expect. I didn't bring any models or anything like that. I went to just go check it out. And it's a little bit of a hike for me. It's about a 7-hour drive, something like that. And there was this panel of garage kit producers. And on the panel was Jesse Garcia, George Stevenson from Blackheart, Mark Havican, Filmy, and William Everhart from Quarantine, who I did not know at that time. And, at this time, like at that first meeting, I didn't really know what went into production. It's kind of like if I asked you, like, hey, how do you like make a car and sell it? Like, I can only assume like there are things that I don't know, right? And here come like all these 4 relatively normal guys just talking about, oh yeah, you buy a sculpt and then you get a caster and then you do some production and then you just make lots of money. Wow, that sounds great. I think like everybody else, like there have always been kits that I wanted that were not available, right? So that's basically how I started. I got into making kits that I wanted to make. And I think that was kind of what Jesse was talking about a couple weeks ago. And we really kind of have the same philosophy on that. At the end of the day, I have a full-time job. This is not much more than a hobby for me. So I can afford to lose a little bit if kits don't sell.
I was just going to ask, what is your full-time job?
Can
you say?
Until very recently, I managed a complaint department for a government facility. I won't tell you details.
Yeah, that's all right.
It's hard to find out. So, people talk a common thread for production is like, oh, you have to deal with the public, and the public can be so annoying. And it's like, well, I ran a complaint department. Like, this is much easier.
Perfect. Perfect transition.
It's really not, though. Some of these guys.
Surprise, man. Maybe off air we can talk about it.
Yeah, okay.
Dude, I don't work there anymore. I guess I can talk on air. And maybe next time you have me on.
For sure.
So the first kid I did was actually like not a good seller. And it is Edgar the Bugman from Men in Black. I love Men in Black. Like, Men in Black is one of my favorite movies. It's just good late 90s comedy, everything like hits, right? And Vincent D'Onofrio as the Bugman, he's so weird. He's like lurching around and drooling and like all this stuff. And I was like, oh man, everybody's gonna want that. Everybody loves Men in Black. Everyone loves zombies and aliens and bug people and stuff. Like, that's gonna be like my first huge hit, right? It's gonna be right out the gate, just money. And I bought an initial run of I think 25 casts. And last I counted, I still have like 16 left. And this was, 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
So, I sold 2 of them this year at Wonderfest, and that might have been the most I've sold at any one time since release.
So let's dissect that a bit. Why do you think that is? Like, what do you think happened?
So that's actually really funny you brought that up, because one of the things I've heard from a lot of people is it's just too big. So, obviously it hasn't sold for a couple of years. So every couple of years.
Jason's never heard that in his life, by the way, just so you know.
Nice. Okay. I walked right into that one.
My feelings.
It's kind of hard to tell from the pictures, but it's like good size. It's about, 15 inches. It's, nominally 1/3 scale. I think it's probably a little bit closer to half. So like, some people might like it, but they don't like it that much to take up that much room on the shelf, right? So last year at Wonderfest 22, I don't know, what was in the water at Wonderfest, but I probably had 100 people come up to my table and take pictures of it. Like, oh, it's so cool. Take pictures. I'd be like, look, I'll get you a deal. And they would just walk away. They had no interest in buying it, just taking pictures, which is fine. I mean, that's part of the game. But anyways, so to address that, I recently had it 3D scanned, and I'm going to be releasing it as a much smaller kit, maybe 6-7 inches tall. And I'm hoping that, maybe I'll sell a little bit more doing that.
Okay. I want to talk about the pictures thing for a second. This came up at I think it was a horror convention I was at. And there's people, because it's not just men, that they don't buy anything anymore. They just go around and collect basically photographs of things they like. And they just post it on their and that's how they do their collection now, is just taking photographs at tables of like rare, instead of buying it, they'll just take a picture of stuff. So I wonder if there's some of that involved too. Like, I think Terry and it came up at G-Fest too. I think people were doing that a couple years ago, where it's just taking pictures instead of actually buying the thing.
Maybe
kids.
Yeah. So after about like, a full day of this last year, I started asking people, like, just straight up, like, what could I make you do to buy this? I do not want to carry this home, kind of stuff. And I noticed some of the comments I got from Wonderfest, like multiple times, was that some people didn't think they had the ability to paint, at an appropriate level, that they would want to buy a kit because they were afraid they'd mess it up or whatever.
Scott can talk to that. He's got that problem.
Yeah, but it doesn't stop me from buying them.
That's true.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm the same way. Like probably everybody else in the hobby, I got a stash of a couple hundred kits that I'll never get to. But it didn't stop me from buying them, right?
Right.
Couple hundred, huh?
What else?
Is that a stash?
What other reasons did they give?
Did I have a hoard?
Oh, sorry. You do have a hoard.
That's all right. So actually on that, because I'm always curious about this, Scott, give me like a ballpark. Are we talking like 600 or are we talking like 6,000?
Not 6,000.
Okay.
Roughly. This is rough now. Yeah. 750.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Now there are some doubles. There's a lot of styrene doubles.
Of course.
when Polar Lights kits and stuff when they came out. I did buy some doubles, but I would venture to guess I'm still over $650 as far as just kits.
Jason, any
I have never added them
numbers?
all up. If I start counting miniatures, I'm in trouble. So
I know, man. I feel
Yeah.
so guilty. Like, they all fit in a closet, thank God. But like, it's a full closet, and I feel guilty.
Mine's
I
a
just-
full stock rack. in my
Yeah,
house.
I've seen that.
And-
Maybe.
and then- Now, on top of that, I have 52 Bowen full-size statues, superhero
Okay.
statues, and I have, I think, about 365 Bowen busts also. So, so I was a comic superhero guy, obviously. So on top of the models, we have that.
let's go back to the other thing for 1 second.
Yeah.
Besides the skill problem of painting, what were the other reasons that people gave?
Those are the only ones I remember. Like, of
Okay.
course, price is always something, right? In general, I try to have pretty reasonable prices on my pieces. And, everybody does. Like,
Yeah.
this is kind of dangerous territory because I don't want to speak about anybody else's business model, right? But
No. Yeah.
as a collector, I have an idea of like what I would pay for a third scale bust, right? So, that's basically where I started with Edgar. And as it didn't sell, the price slowly got lower. I think for a lot of people, this is still very real money thrown around. Like when you talk about like 700 kits, right? Like even if you paid $5 for each kit, that's $3,500. Like that is a sizable amount of money being thrown away, right? And I don't mean thrown away, what I mean.
roughly, roughly, I would guess about $35,000.
Yeah, and I think that's reasonable. And another thing I always think about is it was actually my same first year at Wonderfest. I went over to the Kaiju guys. I can never remember their name. Maybe just Kaiju Kits. Is that it? Yeah. So, anyways, I was talking to them my first year, and I didn't have an idea of what kits went for, right? And of course, I would say like in general, Kaiju kits are a little bit on the more expensive side. It's
Yes.
a lot of resin, a lot of materials, limited availability, all that good stuff. And the guy running the booth, and I can never remember his name, I can never even remember his face, is like, yeah, if you want, open the box, unwrap everything, like take a look as close as you want. Cause like, a lot of people will save up all year to buy one kit from me. And that really kind of put it in perspective, right? So with that being said, like again, we all do different things. I try to price mine as affordable as I can. Of course, I'm trying to make money too. Anyway, so yeah, price, size, and sometimes skill with kits. And that's probably about all I remember. There might be a couple other things that I'm either forgetting or nobody told me.
Okay, so
And you
just
did-
so everyone knows, because there's 16 left, what is the current price? And
So I'm so glad you asked, Scott. Why don't you pop those pictures back up again? So I have them marked at 100 with free shipping. However, if you want one, I'll do 80 with free shipping.
There you go.
That's how
Look at that.
I'm trying to get rid of them.
Model Club special.
Model Club special.
Yeah,
Cool.
maybe do like a promo code or something that
And really, $100 for a third scale bust, I think, is very reasonable.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
so I'll be honest. At that price, I'm losing money. But they've been sitting in my closet for 3 years, and they're not
losing
doing-
money there too. So
Yeah, exactly. So,
Let's try and get these sold out. That would be amazing.
that would be great.
If that
I mean,
could
you
happen.
got like what 1,000 subscribers now.
Yes.
If
Almost. We're
everyone
almost there.
bought 2 kits of mine, I could
Here,
retire.
I'm going to help you out. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to help you out.
Yeah.
I will buy a Model Club TV t-shirt for the 16th kit that sells. So if all 16 sell, the last one that sells, you'll provide me their information. I'll get a hold of them and I'll buy them a t-shirt.
Awesome.
Wow,
Let's try
How
and
about
get
that?
Let's
I
get
like that.
done.
That's wonderful.
So we'll see if you can't get 16 sold.
Yeah, why don't you put that picture back up again?
So
There it
it's
is.
up. It's
It's
up.
up.
There it is.
So I'm glad you didn't get discouraged with it then, and you kept going because there's some really cool stuff you got going on.
So the thing is that, I made this kit. It didn't sell particularly well, but that didn't really change my mission, right? Because there were still kits that I wanted to make that did not exist. Like that did not fundamentally change. So after that, I started, I've done a couple things. I think I really had maybe like three big, busts, not statue busts, but like a bust out of my bank account before I, hit it big, right? So I did a couple skeleton kits. I did a saber-tooth tiger. You can actually see it over my shoulder there on the corner. It's a saber-tooth tiger skeleton. And that was, kind of just enough to keep me going. For me, this is a little bit naive, but I don't care so much about the money. What I really like is that thrill of the sell. So like this goes live and I get some orders for Edgar. Doesn't matter that I'm losing money. I will be so goddamn happy. Like, it's just a good feeling. And same reason I do the table at Wonderfest. It's a good feeling to sell your stuff,
Yeah.
So of course the big one, and I guess what really kind of put me on the map a little bit was my Millicent Patrick kit. I think you guys covered a lot of that. So I listened to your whole episode with Jesse, right? And I have no issues with Jesse, personally or professionally. I did at first, right? So when rumblings came out, I first saw some stuff online. I was a little unhappy, but he justified it. And he's right. Nobody owns the rights. He's doing some different things. He's doing it well. He's being respectful to the source. I got no reason to be mad. I really respect him for taking the opportunity to reach out to me and talk to me about it. Like he messaged me on Facebook. He was like, "Hey Dan, here's my number. Give me a call sometime."
Yeah.
And I did, and it was a good conversation. I want to set the record straight now that I got a public forum. I do not think anybody was trying to cash in on any. So it's actually really funny. So there actually is a lot of drama behind that kit that I'm not going to get into, but not with Jesse, just with other parties. Y'all may be aware. I'm trying my best not to talk shit on this call, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So I hired a sculptor to do it. And basically that same day, Mike Calvert posted pictures of his Jeff Yeager sculpt, like the preview photos that Jeff Yeager does before it gets to mold. And immediately I was like, oh shit, like I messed up. Like this is my fault. Because it turns out that there's a bunch of other groups on Facebook that I'm not a part of that had been talking about this for months. So I had no idea. So I reached out to Mike right away, or maybe he reached out to me, but there was some communication. And I was like, hey, man, like I just wanted to make sure like I'm really not trying to step on your toes here. And he was, of course, super gracious about it. He was like, mine's a quarter scale bust. Yours is 6 scale figure. Like, we're good. No issues. So cool. No issues there. Jesse made a really good point with his interview with you guys that, timing between his and mine, I think kind of seems closer than it was.
Right.
Because,
and that's why in my brain, it does feel that way. Cause there was pictures out there. Not that the kit was there. It was, I'm going to do that. Like kind of,
Yeah, and I'll say in Dan's defense, early on, Dan reached out to me about molding and casting that thing because for a caster. And I think Rob had told you to get a hold of me, and I was like, at that time, I'm like still working, and I'm like, no, thank you. There's more there that I want to deal with, and so it was like I think you ended up with Bradley right at the end.
I did, yeah, and love him to death. Bradley is no disrespect to any other casters out there. I firmly believe Bradley is the best in the business. He just posted something this evening about caught up on Wonderfest stuff. Great guy. He is not only like an amazing caster, he is like also one of the nicest guys in the industry. Super nice.
Yeah, no, he is, and one of the things that makes him an amazing caster is he's an amazing mold maker.
Oh God.
And a good mold will give you a good cast every time. Every time. Not taken away from it, but that's half the battle is the good mold. And then once you have the good mold, it's like, The rest gets easy. So.
Oh yeah, so he's fantastic. You guys should have him on the show. Except he's so busy that I don't want to take away from him doing my work for me.
No, we'll wait
You
until he's
know?
doing Worthlings, and then we'll because
There
Worthling
you
doesn't make more money.
There you
Screw
go.
that guy.
So yeah, so back to I guess my progression as a producer. So Beauty's Beast did really well. I still have a waiting list. Basically, anytime I get kits from Bradley, they sell out in a week or less. It's amazing. That was definitely my peak, right? So everything after that has been steady and has been good now that people are starting to know who I am and get to know my products and stuff. So definitely growing. This year at Wonderfest, I think I had 10 kits on the table. Went really well. Of course, Jason, you saw it at Wonderfest, but I have my Jim Henson tribute coming up at some
Cannot
point.
wait. Like that is the coolest thing I saw in the entire show, and I can't wait for that thing. That is just...
Yeah. So going back to what Jesse said, there's a million Frankensteins, there's a million Draculas, and there's a struggle to do things that are original, but that will also sell, right? So not quite Edgar, but not quite like Frankenstein 6 scale doing that, right? And maybe I shouldn't give away my new strategy or my new line, but what I'm really focusing now is a kind of behind the scenes stuff. So had the Millicent Patrick tribute, doing the Jim Henson tribute.
Jason, don't give anything away. Don't.
Yeah, Jason, you and I might have spoke about it at Wonderfest. I'm certainly not going to say it here, but there are a few more in the line that will be coming up at some point.
So are you a huge Henson fan? Like, are you like when you're picking out your stuff, you're like, okay, I love. No,
he hates Jim Henson. He just thought he'd do a model of it. That was going to be the #1 seller of all time. Come on.
Never know. A lot of people make things they don't like.
So listen, I think like everybody's a Henson fan to a degree, right? Like we all,
Let's ask Scott. Let's ask Scott. Scott, are you a Jim Henson fan?
Yes.
You're a
of
liar.
course.
He's a liar.
Everybody is.
He's lying.
Even Scott, who's like, 50 years older than me or whatever? Like,
you can take that horrible movie that you like and keep it. Dark Crystal or whatever it is.
Oh my
okay.
God. You don't know what you're talking about. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
No, I was a big fan of the Muppet Show, and
Muppet Show's good.
Even some of the stuff on Sesame Street back in the day I liked to watch it even as I got older because I loved watching the puppets and the other things, the Big Bird, the Snuffleupagus, some of the Oscar the Grouch and Grover were my two favorites. So
everybody loves Jim Henson, like to some degree. Like that is like one of the most American things possible is like loving Kermit the Frog, even if like he's your least favorite Muppet, like you love him a little bit.
Can I don't know. Maybe I'll have to edit this out.
Okay.
Have you seen Kermit on Omegle? On YouTube?
What?
Okay. I'm going to send you a link later.
Okay.
So there's a guy that does a dead on Kermit the Frog impression. Yeah. And it's this like random chat windows that people go on, like teenage kids.
Omegle, yes. Yeah,
so Omegle, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen the Kermit on there?
I have. At some point.
And he pops his cucumber up every time and it makes
I've not seen that. Okay. Maybe I saw a different one. I don't know.
I'll have to send you a link. Remind me.
All right. Yeah.
Kermit's the best on there.
Yeah. So, the thing with this sculpture, there are certain things that I'm always actively looking for, right? So like, and it's hard because I can't talk about it too much, but I think it's fair to say that I am actively pursuing a kaiju sculptor right now. I want to dip my toes into giant monsters in suits, right? I was not looking for a Jim Henson tribute at all. And, like probably everybody who listens to this, I'm a member of the Shiflett Brothers sculpting forum, right? On Facebook. So 60,000 sculptors, something like that, all just posting their work. Some of the best sculptors in the world are there, right? And this guy, Scott Wells, was doing it as a personal project for himself. He was just sculpting Jim Henson and Kermit. And, it got like 1 million likes. Everybody loves it. So I DM him and I'm like, look, I'm a resin kit producer. I do this behind the scenes thing. I need this. Like, full stop. I don't care what your price is. This is like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I need this. And he was like, okay, yeah, I'll think about it. Whatever. And I didn't hear from him for like 6 months, maybe. And I reached out again. And I was like, "Hey, Scott, like, just so you know, I still really need this. Like, my number has not changed. Like, I got the money in a checking account waiting to be transferred into your name. Just, let me know." And he was like, "Okay, I'll get back to you. Like, get out of here, kid." And a couple months later, he actually reaches out to me. I figured it was dad at that point. He reaches out and he's like, "Hey, would you still be interested?" And absolutely. So we rushed, and he worked very hard to get a prototype ready for Wonderfest to have it on the table. And despite having the worst table at Wonderfest, like literally,
You did get screwed there a little bit.
you want to talk about that? Wonderfest is always good to talk about.
Yes.
Yeah. So, little bit of background. I would normally split a table with a guy at Wonderfest. David Smith, great guy. He's got a fantastic location at the show. He normally just sells out his stash every year. So every year he just goes in, grabs a couple hundred kits that he's not going to build, sets them on the table, and tries to go home with like 15, right? So he let me know shortly before the show that, he needed the whole table. And of course, I'm tearing out the rest of my hair, right? Because I got nowhere to be. And it's literally like May 25th or something. So I get on Wonderfest's website. They have a single table left in room A. They don't even have anything in room B, which of course room B is like the real kiss of death. Right?
Yeah.
One table in room A, $400. And it is by far the worst table in the show. It is in the little annex that everybody like stays away from because like you're trying not to let the celebrities see you. Because, if you make eye contact, you have to go over there. Like, that's how
Yes, I know the feeling.
They actually call that room the chapel.
Yeah, I mean...
Because it used to be like a church chapel. People get married in there.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I don't know if there's still stained glass in there. I want to say, Jason, wasn't there?
There used to be. Yep, there was.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh. So they call it
the chapel. Depressing. God, I hope none of your listeners or none of my Edgar buying customers got married at the the Crown Plaza in Louisville.
Oh no, John did. John got married there, but actually, he got married upstairs.
There's two people that have been married at Wonderfest.
Okay.
And two of the spouses have passed since then. So might not be a good idea to get married at Wonderfest.
So all right, so let me back up because I think getting married at Wonderfest would be really cool. I don't think getting married in the like Lost in Space annex would be
no, they didn't get married
like
there.
that is not cool.
Married separate, yeah.
So anyways, this year
that's why the robot would be going, danger,
exactly.
Don't get married,
So this year, of course, they had Land of the Lost there, who are extremely nice people. From what I understand, it was like one of their best like conventions they've ever done. Like everybody loved them. And I'm sitting there hearing them sing the theme song like every 10 minutes for 2 full days. And I'm just like, oh, God.
I'm going to get me a gun.
Anyways, so had a really bad table at Wonderfest is the long and short. But I will say the Henson tribute bust kept people coming over. So, Jason, I think you were walking by.
Yeah, I finally got around like late in the one day, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I didn't even see, blew me away. Didn't know it was there. Didn't just happen to see it. I was like, "Holy crap!" Because I wanted to go see the skeleton that you had, the Harryhausen skeleton, and I think by the time I got over there, everything was sold out, or it was about to be.
Everything but Edgar.
Yeah. Which brings me to the skeleton for a second. How'd you come up with that?
So. That's a really
for people
who
don't know. I'll have the pictures up. It's Jason and the Argonauts, the skeleton, the Harryhausen.
Yeah, and just side note, you guys talked about it maybe a month ago, and
yeah,
I went and listened to that episode. I was like, wow, you guys are saying some really nice shit about it. Thank you. So it's simple. I really like skeletons, right? So Harryhausen is another one that I would love to do a tribute kit for, but the perfect one has already been done. Right. And I think I want to say it was Killer Kits. You guys might have to look this up. But one of the British producers did like this gorgeous tribute kit of Harryhausen sitting in his living room, drinking tea with like the miniature monsters everywhere. Like,
I have seen that, but it's hard to get here.
yeah. I think the guy. Forgive me for not knowing who it was, but I think he only did a run of 25, and that is the perfect behind the scenes kit. I wish I had thought of that. But anyways, I love Harryhausen. I love skeletons. And every once in a while, I just go through this like phase where I get like obsessed with whatever topic, right? And I'm like, I gotta have that. And for me that week, it was skeletons, and it was Harryhausen skeletons. And lucky enough for me, everybody else was obsessed with them that week. So actually, we can talk about this on the show. I actually have a second one that's about to be ready for release.
Oh, cool.
Jason and the Argonauts, there's, I think, 8 skeletons walking around. They all got different shield art. They all got different weapons, different, poses and stuff.
Don't they have different expressions too? Like some of them have angry brows.
Yeah.
And...
So I don't know how well that's going to show up, but this is the second pose that we're going to be doing. You'll see the shield is blank here. I'm going to be releasing some decals for the shield art. But yeah, man, people went nuts for that skeleton. I sold out at Wonderfest. I sold probably 10 or 15 before Wonderfest. I sold probably like 10 or 15 after Wonderfest. People going nuts for that.
Because I remember when Monsters in Motion put out that Jason and the Argonauts fighting the skeleton, Scott, I'm talking to you because you were there.
Well, I also remember.
So you were there. Like, when did you get involved in buying models? Like, what was your first garage kit, Dan? Like, how much of that do you?
2014, maybe?
Okay, all right. But that was like when that kit came out, was huge. Like everyone was just talking about it, and there really hadn't been anything since that up until.
Well, weren't there two? Right? So there was the one where the skeletons were all up on the platform.
Right, that's the one I'm thinking of.
What was the one on the stairway? Was he fighting the skeleton?
Oh, there was one where he's like on the stairway. Yeah. Who did that? That was
Monsters in Motion also, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, the guy, I want to say his name is Michael Heisman, was the producer and or sculptor. He actually reached out to me about my skeleton, bought a couple, and was like, by the way, I used to make this. Oh, I'm not mad. And this looks great. And I was like, good.
But again, there's going to be overlap always. And I think people kind of got to let go of that.
And one thing I want to say about the Millicent is, there's your bust, there's Mike's bust, there's your kit, there's Jesse's kit. Jesse obviously made a bust of his kit as well. Look up pictures of Millicent Patrick. The first thing you're going to find is that picture of her holding the creature mask, working
100%.
on it. Okay, so it's also a very iconic, you want to call it pose or whatever, image. Let's say it's an iconic image. So it's like, what else would you do with Millicent Patrick but that?
I mean, there's like 5 pictures of her in existence. Like there are very few pictures. So yeah, there's only so much you can do if that's the subject you want to do, right?
So I don't want you to give are you still thinking about a Harryhausen tribute? Like of him?
I am not.
Okay.
Only because I can't think of anything as good as that one guy's kit. To me, there is no better tribute to Harryhausen.
Okay.
The only thing I could think of doing, and I'll talk about that. This is a giveaway for for any listeners who want to sink, $10,000 or whatever into some fleeting interest. There's this great picture of him, animating the skeleton. He's at the table. He's like doing something like that. Maybe doing like a chest up bust of that picture, maybe. But even then, I mean, that'd be nowhere as good as him sipping tea with all its critters. So it's, it was done too good the first time around. There's nothing I could do to ever top.
I love Hellboy, but I like the comic version better than the movie version. Yep. And I think yours hits that side of it more than most people end up with. Because every time you see Hellboys in Garage Kit World, it's always the movie. It's always the Del Toro Hellboy stuff. It's never the more super cloven feet, kind of like real comic-y kind of mouth. That's the Hellboy I like. So I when I saw this piece on your table too, it's like, holy crap, someone finally did like one closer to the way I like it. And I'm not knocking Marks at all, because they're super cool kids. for what they are. It's just when I like Hellboy, it's more comic based than other stuff. I think Ed Bradley
Yeah.
did a bust a long time ago that was really good too that I have, but it's
I'm glad
very
you brought
rare that
that
you
up.
see one.
So, like Hellboy is one of my more persistent subjects. So I've probably done 4 or 5 different Hellboy kits, as in produced 4 or
Mhm.
5. And the thing with Hellboy is, all the good stuff has already been done too. So sometimes you got to think outside the box. You can't see, but right over my shoulder there, next to the saber-tooth tiger skeleton, is Sean Nagel's Hellboy, and that's from like early 2000s maybe.
Mhm.
Amazing. It's the perfect comic sculpt of his first appearance in comics. Seed of Destruction. That was for you, Scott. And just beautiful. And
What's
then
the number?
over
What's the
other
number of
shoulder,
that issue? Would you like?
number 1, of course. First appearance. I also have all of Mark Worthling's Hellboys. I got, well, you can kind of see
Yep,
it. I got
see
the
it.
whole
Yep.
line back there.
Right behind your
I
head.
got like literally everybody except his newest one.
Yeah, nobody
and then
bought
next, what's that?
He only sold.
nobody
I
bought the
think,
newest
one.
one.
I really like the newest one. I love it. I think it's such an awesome sculpt.
I'm just giving
For
crap.
me, it's just a little bit too big. Those, just like my Edgar, take up a lot of real estate. I've already got 4 of them. I've got 2 of them behind me. I've got 2 more around the house, right? So.
Jason never wants to see that thing again.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The thumbs. I did the printing for it, and it's
The spikes and the
Okay.
it was fun.
Little fairies and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, the fairies were the worst. The worst.
Really?
Yeah. Because for the small version of it, those fairies are like that big, and everything they just fall apart when you try and take them.
Fair.
Robotica, how'd that do for you?
So Robotica is a really interesting topic.
And give us the background on how that, because it's kind of out of nowhere when it comes to some of the other stuff.
Yeah, it
falls into the stuff.
Perfect. I mean, you could call it a sci-fi model.
Could.
So it could be either or. So Robotica is my tribute to a bunch of different things, right? And I'm so glad you asked, because we talked about Industria Mechanica earlier, and this is my version of an Industria Mechanica kit.
It has that vibe. It totally has that vibe.
Yeah. So Michael Fichtenmeyer with IMEC did that line of Cosmonaut kits a couple of years ago. 8th scale, gorgeous kits. I've got those behind me too. This was kind of my take on that, where it's kind of a sexy woman, kind of a sci-fi kit, a lot of like flowing energy and movement. And then, the other thing it was a big tribute to was Filmy. So, I mentioned earlier in this talk here that, Filmy was on that panel that really got me interested in producing, right? And I need to write this down because I always forget the exact quote. But he was talking about like the way he makes his models and the way he selects his subjects. And it was like he wanted them to be like sexy, but not obscene, I think is what he said. So, we're not seeing that. You might have to edit this, but you ever seen that fucked up kit with the woman getting eaten out by a robot? You ever seen that one?
Oh yeah.
Jason,
you know what you should do?
It's
for
the
this?
Dark Horse
You
one
should,
where the robot is like holding her up. The old Dark Horse with a ton of really cool wires around it. Yeah, I know. It's based on a piece of artwork too.
I'm sure it is based on some pervert artwork, right?
I'm like you, in that I think we can leave stuff to the imagination.
Sure.
Okay. I love pinup art. Elfgren, like Vargas, the pinup art. None of that was ever obscene. Who's the other one? Petty. Okay. Was the other one. And they were big in the 40s, did matchbook book covers and calendars, but they ended up on the nose art of a lot of planes. So I loved Randy Van Dyke's kit of the girl, painting the plane a few years ago.
Oh yeah, it's a great kit.
And so I like that pinup feel. And like you say, it's not obscene. It's just what it is. It's art. Okay, if anything, it's art. So I'm with you 100%. I don't have to see
Yeah.
I don't have
Yeah.
to see everything. So
So listen, I go to the Midnight Pervert Show or whatever it's called at Wonderfest. You know, the after hours unsanctioned event.
we're gonna get some mail on that one, but that's
MPV,
okay.
MPS.
Listen, it's all good fun, right? But I also go to that knowing what I'm getting into, right? It's like I'm gonna see some like insane Jimmy Flintstone stuff that like is beyond obscene, right? That was not what I was trying to do. And I don't want to speak for anybody else, but I think Filmy was trying to kind of avoid that stuff with his subjects. So they're sexy, but not obscene.
Which he has. Which he has.
Of course, he's done an incredible job. Like, um, one thing I try to keep in mind. I hope this doesn't sound like virtue signaling or something, but like my wife comes to Wonderfest with me, right? And over the years, there have become more and more women in the hobby. And I think that's a really good trend. And I would like to see that trend continuing, right? Making the hobby more accessible to everybody. And you don't get that by making like disgusting pervert kits that you can't bring around kids, right? So I'll get off my soapbox.
Oh no, I want to add on to that. Jason and I have talked about this with our friend Jamie. Okay. Just because you can put boobs on something doesn't mean you have to. And there's so much beautiful work out there that guys do 3D sculpt wise. And, I don't need an Ariel from Little Mermaid with her top off. Okay. I don't need Jessica Rabbit with her top off. Jessica Rabbit was perfect as she is. But yet, there's a ton of that shit out there. And again, I'm like you. I'm not getting on a soapbox and saying it's not virtuous.
I've held my tongue long enough.
Yeah, we're not trying to kink shame, Jason. So
yeah,
I'm sorry
no,
that,
and I'm not. And that's the thing. Like, it's very rare that I get offended by a piece or I think something is obscene.
Yeah.
When it fits the character and it fits the story you're trying to tell, that's fine with me.
Right.
But when you're just doing like, in my biggest, like, I hate boobs on Predators. It makes zero sense. And it's just trying to put some tits out there just for the sake of tits. And to me, that's stupid because when you look at a Predator, I've said it on the show before, its mouth wouldn't work on a nipple. So they wouldn't have boobs and it makes zero sense. And it's just so we can say, oh, we have a naked Predator. And with an alien character, I get a little more. The whole thing's a penis in the first place. The whole head of an alien's a penis. If you go and look at the original artwork, it's a dick. I hate everyone. If you don't realize that yet, those people who collect aliens, you're collecting dicks and putting them all over your shelf.
Wow.
That's what they are.
Got a big dick on my shelf.
Right, you do. The head is a big penis.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's okay. Because that's what his style was. That's what Giger was. It's biomechanical, sexy. If there's boobs on that, that makes sense. When it comes to other things, like I have, like Operation in Progress is broken and sitting up there. And he's wearing a strap on and he's doing surgery on himself. And to me, that's not obscene. That's something that would be, it used to be out on my, like when you walk in my apartment at time, it was right there for everyone. I don't care who sees it.
It didn't go with the girlfriend's Fisher Price toys.
It would. I dropped it when I was moving. So otherwise it would be out there with everything else. I have like, but when it comes to just, I'm going to make something weird, like Ariel, a naked Ariel makes no sense. It's just for weirdos. And if you're into that stuff, that's fine. But admit you're into weird shit. It's just, you don't need naked Disney characters.
Now,
or
listen,
even
guys,
like,
I'm trying to sell 16 Edgars right now, so we got to back up a little bit and say, look, if you are a weird pervert, listen.
Hey,
you're fine.
I'll tell you what. If you want to put tits on the Edgar after you get it,
send it to us.
knock yourself out. Okay,
great idea. Listen, we can still be friends, even if you're
I've
a
seen
weird
stuff. And Jason and I have covered this a little bit before. Some beautifully sculpted kits. Lady Slave is one that comes to mind, and it's a bondage girl, and she's got a chain going up, and it's nothing I would ever buy, and it's nothing I would ever display, but I can still look at it and say it's a beautiful flowing sculpt, okay? Yeah. But it's like, Jason, I'll ask you, if you had kids, would you have that Operation in Progress out?
Yes. Absolutely.
And his kids would be in therapy. Okay, so
I don't know what the kid is. So
okay, Look at
put a
OIP.
picture in the video. Yeah.
It's
It's a
very
few-
violent, and that's the thing. Like, if you try and hide that stuff, it just makes it even. I don't know. We're getting in a weird place. Like, I have posters. I have like gig posters that have nudity in them. I'm not taking them down for kids that are coming over. That's just that's how.
And listen, I have no problem with nudity.
Yeah.
I don't have problem with gratuitous nudity.
Oh, well, I'm glad.
Oh no!
Um,
But I get what you're saying. I totally get it. Tasteful. I get what you're trying to do with this piece because it works perfectly.
Yeah. So with this piece, this is my girl kit, right? Inspired by Filmy, inspired by Industria Mechanica, and then my sister-in-law, my marketing sister-in-law, not my lawyer sister-in-law, is a roller derby player, right? So I find the sport interesting. I won't go into it too much because now, like, we're really getting off topic. But the big inspiration, I won't even talk about the inspiration for this because it's such a weird story. You know what? Now that I'm talking about it, I have to.
You have to. Yep.
So we can edit it out if it's like too much. So, all right. So Derby girls all have like names, right? Like Derby names.
Yep.
And a lot of times they're puns. A really good example, a girl on my sister-in-law's team is called Texas Chainsaw Mascara, right? So there's normally kind of a blend between like girly stuff and horror or like weird shit, right?
Yeah.
So we were visiting my sister-in-law and we went to a bar that one of her team members works at. And a lot of times they introduce themselves as their derby name. So like my sister-in-law, like I don't think her team members know her real name. They know her derby name, which is Zombolina. She likes zombies. She's really short, Zombolina. Okay. So she introduces us to her friend who works at this bar. And her friend does this weird gesture and goes, "Hi, I'm Robotica." So I'm like, what the fuck? Like this is just super weird. It turns out I completely misheard that. And it turns out she didn't even do a robot move. According to other witnesses, I swear I saw it. But her derby name is Reno, Nevada, which, as you will note, sounds nothing like Robotica. But that's what I heard. I saw the weird movement. I heard Robotica, and I was like, man, I should do a robot derby girl.
Was there alcohol involved here, Dan?
No, that's the thing. Like, I mean, like it was a bar, so it was allowed. But I swear, and this is like a point of contention between me and the family, I swear she did a weird robot thing. Nobody else believes me. She did it. Robotica did it. So,
I love it.
So yeah, that was Robotica.
For that moment, she was Robotica.
Yeah, exactly. So I hired this sculptor, a guy named Ezequiel Devoto, and I'm sure I'm butchering that. He's a guy from down in South America, wonderful guy. He sculpts a lot of fan art for some of the larger companies. And we talked quite a bit about like what I wanted, and we talked about being sexy, not obscene, and we talked about having her be muscly, right? So like derby girls, there's of course a lot of stereotypes, but I can see the smiles forming over there. But
I like
in general, they are all very strong. They skate for hours at a time, which is a hell of a workout.
Yep.
They beat the shit out of each other. All this stuff. They're all very strong. So we tried to capture that with Robotica. And so far, the feedback from derby players has been really positive, and that's really good for me. That's
cool.
Like, no higher praise.
It seems like it's making a comeback. Like it was huge for a while here in Chicago, and then it died out. And then like lately, I've been seeing a lot more like advertisements for derby stuff going on in the area.
And it's fun. I mean, it's a spectator sport in itself. It's cool because it's definitely a little more. I think progressive is kind of the wrong word, but it's a little more open to different kinds of people, right? Yep. So, like gothics and weirdos, feel very at home doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's my old crowd. So
yeah, bald dudes with beards, like it works out.
All the old goth girls that I knew a bunch of people that would come in to one of the bars I worked at that were on the local team. I want to talk about the track, and I really like about how the way you look at, like, cut it out, and you can see the little. You could tell there's Industria Mechanica influence there with all the little
100%.
pieces that are in there. Because when you just notice it, it's all the girl with the arm. But when you start looking at those track pieces, there's some really cool details in there, and I'm glad you did that instead of just made a flat base, like with none of that extra stuff in there.
The track was a little bit contentious, right? So I of course used my sister-in-law as my derby consultant, right? So I was like, hey, do these skates look right? Does this helmet look right? All this stuff. And they no longer use banked tracks like that. They use a flat track, obviously no grooves because your skates get stuck. But listen, this is a future kit. This is cyberpunk, yes. Right? So put a little bit of a bank on it, put some grooves in it, put some sci-fi shit in there.
Has she seen Battle Angel where they're going around killing each other? Have you seen Battle Angel?
I have, and it's way different. And
way different.
People are like, hey, is this supposed to be a Battle Angel kit? And I'm like, no.
Major Tom.
Oh, man. So that's Major Tom may be the reason why I got into kit production. So, like, of course, Edgar was my first, right? But the first thing I really wanted to do was a space monkey. Like, I don't know. I think it is so funny. Anytime you give any animal a cigar and put them in any kind of human clothes, funny as hell to me. So, like, an astronaut chimp smoking a cigar, funny as hell. I love that. So I had talked to a couple people about doing that. I eventually went with Miguel Zupo, who's another one you should have on. Miguel is an incredible sculptor, and I think he's like a little bit underknown in the community. I think as far as like likenesses go, I don't think there are many people better than Miguel.
Okay.
He is incredible at what he does. So yeah, Miguel actually just posted up a paint up of Major Tom last week. An incredible paint job. So yeah, Major Tom.
I'm gonna try and go find that.
I cannot say enough good things about Miguel. I can't wait to work with him again. He recently put out a Batman, like a late '90s style Batman. Very, very good.
Cool. I'll check it out. I do want to talk about your woolly rhino.
Okay.
This is one of the coolest things I've seen in a very long time. Did you have this at Wonderfest?
I did.
In the Okay. So I didn't get into the contest room really for more than like a 30. So I didn't see it. So when you posted this the other day, this is the first time I saw this piece. Holy crap. This is cool. So I want you to walk us through just like the modeling aspect of
there's a lot
of building this piece. So what's the base piece? Why have I not seen people do their dino kits as museum replicas before? Like, it's rare. Everyone tries to make them look like prehistoric times and all that instead, like real, instead of being this. And bravo, sir.
I was also kind of surprised because, there's only so much you can do with like a T-Rex or whatever. Like, there's different paint schemes and everything, but at the end of the day, it's a T-Rex. And, like many things and many topics tonight, this started with skeletons. So a couple of years ago, I had done a like 1/20th scale Allosaurus skeleton. It was a resin kit. And I brought it to Wonderfest. It was maybe 2019 or maybe 21. I don't remember. And I did it as if it were a model on a paleontologist's desk. So I like had all these handwritten notes, but that was kind of my thought with the woolly rhino. And I will say, like, full disclaimer, the photographers at Fine Scale Modeler are like artists, right? So I will honestly say the pictures that they took look better than it does in real life. So
shut up.
Listen, I was fine with it, but the pictures they took are like incredible. So
who sculpted that, if I can ask?
That's Shane Folks.
Okay.
So he is, to my understanding, the premier dinosaur guy, right? Cretaceous Creations. You should also have him on.
We've been
really
playing
nice guy.
In the works, I think so.
I picked that up from him last year at Wonderfest, so 22. I have never really done dinosaurs outside the skeleton. I try to make it to Crazy Joe's dinosaur morning show kind of thing he does every year. which is super inspiring. He's a hell of a painter, right? Like the things he does with dinosaurs, just
Yeah,
make
just ask him. Just ask him. He'll tell you. No, I'm
Oh
just,
yeah, he'll tell you. Like he's open about it. But
I love it.
anyways, it was like the last day of the show, and I saw this woolly rhino at the Cretaceous Creations table, and I'd never really been into like animals, I guess, like animal kits. And I saw that, and his paint up on the table honestly makes mine look like a 5-year-old did it. And I've reached out and told him this because his paint up is just, mind blowing. And I swear, like 90% of this episode is just me like praising people who aren't me. So let it never be said that I'm a dickhead because all I'm doing is praising people for 45 minutes. Anyways, so I bought it from Shane. The base that it's on, that kind of rocky base, that came with the kit, there's a little kind of like dead tree behind it kind of thing. And I liked it. But the thing with dinosaurs and the dinosaur category at Wonderfest is very competitive. And I think that's partly because Crazy Joe is normally a judge there. So my Allosaurus, he had given a silver to. And normally, like, listen, I don't care that much about competitions. I'm certainly not trying to humble brag or anything, but when Crazy Joe gave me a silver, I was so fucking mad. I was like, Joe, like, what is wrong with you, Joe? Like, what would have made this a gold? And he says to me, he goes, Dan, it just didn't pop. It just didn't have that flair. And I was like, all right, Crazy Joe. Well, first of all, fuck you. And second of all, like, you want some flair? We're going full this year. So yeah, so I did everything I could to make that thing stand out. So I, of course, painted it, which is a problem in itself. That's a difficult paint job, but that's neither here nor there. For the wood floor, I tried a lot of different things. I tried printing out wood veneer. I tried, buying wood veneer and cutting it into slabs, and all the little tricks that the dollhouse makers use, right? And nothing really looked right. And what I eventually did was I took a big piece of just sheet styrene. It was actually a yard sale stein. I got it at Home Depot, so it was 3 feet long. And I brought it to a laser cutter, and luckily I'm fortunate enough to have access to a laser cutter. And I made a kind of plank design, and I basically laser scored it into that. So at that point, it was just a piece of sheet styrene with rectangles cut, basically. And then threw a bunch of oil paints on it until it looked like wood. If you haven't done that before, you've never tried to like do wood, it's super easy. There's a million tutorials on YouTube. Couple drops of oil paint and a sponge, perfect. The stanchions and the ropes were a little bit trickier. I ended up scratch building the stanchions, but that didn't look too good because frankly, I'm not good at scratch building. Right, like I do not have that skill set to like cut things precisely straight. So I went over to Blender and I made me some stanchions in Blender, which is super easy because it's a cylinder on top of another cylinder. Like it's very simple. Printing those out, that was no problem. The sign that you'll see there, that actually was a scratch built, which is why it's so janky and a little bit lopsided. But went into Photoshop. I made this display sign like you would see at a museum, right?
Yeah.
And cut it out and I put it in there, put a little piece of plexiglass on there so it had a nice glass cover. The ropes were made out of some like thick thread that I got at Michael's. So,
I love it. I really do.
Well, thank you. It's gotten a lot of attention. I have often said that there's like no greater like praise than getting featured in Vine Scale. Like, golds are great, of course. Silvers are great. Bronze are great. Merit, all that is good stuff. But when Fine Scale is walking around and they see 1,200 models or whatever, and they're like, yeah, we want to take a picture of that one, I about cry every time I talk to them.
I wish they did that when I was entering. They didn't have Fine Scale.
Well, you still can.
Just because we like to talk shit about Crazy Joe. I noticed I went to the winner saying you only got a silver on this too.
Yeah. So I actually I
Did you go
mentioned before.
run that rhino horn up his ass and ask why? Or what?
Exactly. So Crazy Joe's a member of my local IPMS club, and I had met him at Wonderfest, and then I saw him like a month later, and I was like, "Wait a minute! Like this crazy man looks familiar." So I confronted him, and I sat him down. I said, "Listen, Crazy Joe, what do I got to do? Like, how I got to get a goal?" And he was like, Dan, I didn't judge it this year. I was like, "Okay, cool, you're off the hook." So,
listen, Crazy Joe.
In all seriousness,
Okay, pal.
obviously super grateful for silver. It's a really, really competitive category. I looked around this year. I don't think I saw any golds in dinosaurs this year. Maybe one or two, but they're hard to come by.
Yeah. Well, I think it's great. Congratulations on it.
Thanks,
just a stellar piece.
Appreciate it.
Let's hit up all your info before we gotta go.
Yeah.
How people get a hold of you? Best way?
Yeah. So the best way is probably through Instagram or sci-fi models and stuff. Dan Gardon on Facebook. I'm in all the resin groups. I'm pretty easy to find. I'm on YouTube. I myself am approaching 1,000 subscribers. So
excellent.
Did you guys make it yet?
Not yet.
Okay. I think I'm at like 903 or something.
I think we're at
960. But I also haven't submitted for months, so that that
my
might
wife's friend
have
is here
something to do
today,
with it.
and I made her subscribe, so we might be at 960.
Okay. Nice. Thank you. So yeah, Facebook, I'm everywhere. Instagram, YouTube. I need to get a website going, so that'll probably happen at some point.
All right, let's get some Edgars sold, everybody. Let's get some of those
Thanks,
Edgars
guys.
Hey,
trying to retire here,
again,
so
if you're
gotta
number
sell
6
those Edgars.
all right, I'm gonna sweeten this deal a little bit.
Oh God.
Okay, so if you sell out of 16,
yeah,
I will automatically buy the 16th person a Model Club T-shirt and ship it to them. Okay.
Right.
If you sell 10, we will put those 10 names into a drawing, and I will buy that person. Okay. So if you sell 16, 16 automatically gets it. But if you only sell 10, or between 10 and 16, we're going to have a lottery drawing, and they'll get a T-shirt. So one way or another, let's sell some of these things for you.
Get some Edgars
great.
out
Thanks,
there.
guys.
Cool. Well, thank you, sir, for joining us. This has been great. Have you back anytime. When expected date on the Jim Henson ish?
I don't know yet. So
that's the best answer you could possibly give, too.
Yeah, that's one of those things where I wish I had a better idea. So in a perfect world, I want Bradley to mold and cast it because again, he is the greatest of all time. He's a busy guy. He's hard to get a hold of. So Bradley, if you're listening, here is the motivation you need. I got some work set aside for you. I'm just waiting for you, bud.
Cool.
But yeah, no, thanks for having me. This was super fun. Next time I'll get my good camera working. Next time I won't be so sweaty. It'll be
same
good.
with us.
Oh, it looked great. It was fine. So,
thanks,
and we're back. Scott, what'd you think? Dan's a great guy. Really nice dude.
Dan is a great guy. Very, very good in the microphone.
Yeah. Much better than you. That's for sure.
Yeah. I can only do so much. This camera only can handle so much beauty, and it focuses out.
Oh, boy.
And I want everyone to know. Okay, before Jason wants to blame my camera and all kinds of bullshit that he usually does, he was trying out a different software that he talked about, I think, in the last episode. Okay. And my camera didn't go out of focus one.
No, I know. We don't know if this is
a Zoom thing or if it's a software thing, but it's not my fault.
Yeah, it's not.
Basically, what I want to get to is it's not my fault.
It never's your fault. So, but no, Dan, thanks for coming on. Please, Edgar kits, links down below. $80 free shipping for a 1/3 scale bust. Let's hump them out. Let's get those things sold. And Scott said he'd even buy some t-shirts in there too. So
maybe you want a shirt. Yep.
We'll get there. All right. We have a Grail mail. Eric is looking for Moses zombies. So if you have a Moses zombie sitting in a box somewhere, not a zombie of Moses, but any zombie that Moses had sculpted at some point.
Moses is a zombie.
Get a hold of Eric 10 over on Instagram or Facebook. I'll put a link down to his profile. If you have a Moses zombie that you don't want anymore, hit him up. He might want it, might need it. I have one sitting back there that I was going to show, but I couldn't dig it out of the pile in time. It's just the head, giant head that he did. I love it. I'm never giving it up. You have to pry that out of my hands, Eric, when I'm dead, which might be soon. So we'll see.
In which case, get a hold of me, Eric, because I'm sure I'll be.
Yeah, he'll be the one, going through my shit.
Parting this stuff out for $20 a kid.
So Grail Mail. All right, hit up Eric. Moses zombies.
Wait, you want to know what sucks?
What sucks?
Okay. Let's play a game. Quick game.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. If I drop dead tomorrow and you can come over here and pick 2 kits, what are they? Joanne says here, you take 2 kits. I don't care what they are. What
That
do you
Godzilla.
the 64 Godzilla.
The 64 Godzilla. I don't know what the second one would be.
All right. I know it's like the Rick Cantu fish.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. So, all right. When this valve gives way, like next week, because he's drank too much whiskey or whatever, and I got to go over there, I don't think you have anything I want.
Yes, I do. I'll bet I do.
What?
I don't know.
bet
I'm just saying. I'm going to put it in my will.
I'll bet you don't own anything that I either don't own or that I would want.
There's no way that's true. All right, I'm going to have to do an inventory. Like you did. Use the link to the spreadsheet. We'll see.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. Maybe.
We'll see what you own that I want.
All right, emails, voicemails, and corrections. We have no corrections because we got everything correct the first time around.
We're about to have a big correction.
And we have one email. We have no voicemails. Dang it. I was hoping for the Ghost of Tucky.
No one fessed up to the Tucky impression.
I have a guess, though. I have a guess. Should I say the guess? No. I want him to call back as the Ghost of Tucky. Please, every episode. Please.
Great.
Maybe we'll have to pull out a Ouija board and do like a seance.
Okay, you do that at your house. There's certain things I don't play with.
I have one upstairs. I'll get it.
Of course you do.
It was from mine when I was a kid. My grandma.
I wonder
gave
why
it to
your
me.
valve's leaking. That's because Satan is in your heart.
No, he's not.
You need to get right with the Lord. I'm telling you.
I am right with the Lord. I'm always right with the Lord.
You're not even close. I'm a stretch, but you're not even close.
All right. Our first email, our only email. We only got one email. So I must have done everything perfect last time
Really?
to only get one email. And this is from Peter Fortunato. Greetings, gents. Hey, guys. Great recent episode to complement your expanding series of shows. It's about time someone, Jason, spoke his mind about this hobby of ours. I agree with you completely, but did you ponder why? I think the first tip-off was when Chiller cut the model contest from spring and fall to only fall. Based on interest and attendance, it was inevitable. The Chiller model dealer room was also thinned out substantially as a result. Chiller is no longer concerned with, I'm going to redo that sentence. Chiller is no longer concerned with models. Reason I think the same old subject, lack of interest. So I want to stop right there and correct. Scotty Mills is trying to bring that back, trying to make the Chiller contest what it was at one point. So there's that at least. Wonderfest and probably the upcoming Jersey Fest, I think, will also have reduced interest and attendance. I saw the Wonderfest model contest entries, lots of old kits. So the attendance at Wonderfest wasn't a problem. I don't know how Jersey Fest is going to go. The Wonderfest attendance was actually pretty big.
Well, that's what I was going to comment on too, is you were there. I wasn't there this year. By all accounts, Saturday morning was jam-packed.
Yes.
For the first, and now it's always more crowded at the beginning. Saturday morning is always more crowded. But I heard you couldn't even get through the room. Again, I wasn't there. I don't know. So you were there. Obviously, you were behind a table, but.
And then, it's weird. You only see kind of directly in front of you at some point. But I will say this. If you took the Starship guys out of there, I wonder how crowded it would be. If you took all of the Starship Modeler Sci-Fi guys out, how crowded would it, like, what's the breakdown versus GK guys versus Starship Sci-Fi guys.
Let me
That's-
ask you a question though on that. Because it's always been said that the sci-fi guys kind of came in and took over Wonderfest. Okay. And I'll go to, if you go to the contest, I'll say that, man, they've certainly made their mark in the contest. Okay. But when you walk that room, and I've walked that room for 26 years. Okay. There's Starship Modeler, there's Cult TV Man, are the big two that sell hardware models. Okay. Do you really look at it as a half hardware kit show as far as dealers go?
Not as
I'm
far.
not saying
No.
there's not any.
No.
I'm not saying there's not any, but what I'm saying is it's compared to what's in the contest and what's in the dealer room.
Well, the contest is also deceiving in
Mhm.
that one person can enter 10 things.
True, but it's still an entry. It's still a kit.
Right. But if you took I'd like to see the contest breakdown not by number of entries, but number of entrants. Like the person entering. How many
Mhm.
people there are entering Garage Kit models versus how many people are entering Starship models, and see what that breakdown is. I don't know if they could do that. I'd like to see that number. Maybe George could figure that out for us. But you're right in terms of dealers. But that goes to what I said last time. It's a lot of old stuff. It's not the people selling new kits. There's not as many as there were. So I don't know.
There's a part of that excites me because I might see an old kit that I had wanted.
Right. And that's where I think the Garage Kit hobby is going, based on last episode, is a lot of old kits are going to be your garage kits from here forward, of the trading and selling of old things because of their nostalgia value. There's going to be a lot of that, coupled with some of the other things I talked about. A lot of old kits. But why? Can we continue to blame overseas recasts, Sideshow, COVID restrictions, and companies like Janus, Exo Facto, and Resin from the Crypt going out of business for the decline in interest of the hobby? Of course not. My opinion, this is Peter's, is the Resin product figure line is not changing and probably hasn't since the early 90s. I don't think the stagnancy can be fixed by 3D printing alone. It's just a tool. The horror figure modeling subject, for the most part, is still following the Aurora Monster product plan of the early 60s. Enough with the Frankensteins and Draculas. It's been done to death. The product line has got to change and has got to draw them in and get more creative people back into modeling. Do that and interest will grow. Scott and Jason, I'd like to see an episode on 3D modeling and printing. I know nothing of this, and I'm sure I'm not alone. Terry, Dave, how about an article or two on 3D printing and files? Thanks for listening, and many, many thanks to Model Club TV and AFM, Peter Fortunato. So great email, Peter. I agree with a lot of what you said. And
I agree with a lot of what he said as well. It is stagnant.
I'm going to say this. We just did an hour on this email and then trashed it, and we're redoing it to kind of soften what I've said, which goes against every fiber of my being, but we'll leave it there and try and move forward. He's right. You have to pull people in. Hey, everybody. It's Jason from the future. What ensued after this point in time was Scott and I had a discussion for well over, I think, an hour and a half. And we tried to redo it a couple times because it didn't feel right. The discussion that ensued, Scott and I disagreed on a lot of things, and I think we had gotten to a point where I really liked what we had talked about, and it wasn't. We normally don't edit this way, but we just both didn't feel good about what was said and wanted to redo that. And then after we recorded, Scott sent me the pictures of Phil, and it reminded me of why we do this show, and which was to be positive and to highlight the great things that are going on in the hobby in general, whether that be garage kits and 3D printing and everything in between. So I'm going to executive producer decision, change that, take that all out, because in the end of things, garage kits are amazing. I don't want to have anyone feel like I'm shitting on them or we're thinking that it's gone. I honestly, the discussion is, I really think it's changing, and there will always be garage kits. There's always going to be guys that produce garage kits. I think it's going to be unrecognizable in a few years, and I think everyone kind of has their own vision of what that's going to be. But here at Model Club TV, what I want to make sure that we do going forward is always celebrate everything and make sure that we're doing it in a positive light. And I think some of it got a little too negative, and between Scott and I, not us fighting, but just the discussion. And in light of some of the other things that have happened, I don't want to push that on anybody. So keep making your garage kits, keep making your 3D prints. I think there's a way to bring this all together and make it amazing. And I'm going to leave it at that. Maybe I'll save that footage for one day and do a behind the scenes lost thing, but I really just don't think it fit. And now that I'm sitting here editing, it makes even less sense. So we saved you guys. It would have been an almost 4-hour episode. So back to the regular show. There you go.
I want it to go. I guess what I'm saying is this: I want it to go as long as it can.
And so do I.
Okay, there you go.
And there's so much more I want to say, but I'm not. All right. Anyway, we're at the end of the episode. Please, if you would like the Model Club TV kit from Well, our little tribute piece, the link will be down below to print it for yourself. If you want to purchase a print from me, I will have that information up probably next episode with prices, everything. But the Google link will be there to download it for yourself, and you'll probably see it up on a couple different places for free.
Oh, I said, what a great opportunity to have a print of me. And then after the last 5 minutes, if you want to take the other one and blow it apart with a BB gun of Jason, what a great.
You guys have no idea what we've been through.
But
we're going to leave it at that.
No, we'll leave it at that. But, I mean, I'll speak for me. I love the hobby. The hobby's changed in the 20 years.
Because that makes me sound like I don't love the hobby. Who started the show?
All right. Whoa.
Like, really?
All right. So I'll say that get the kit, watch the podcast. We love garage kits. And hey, man, keep going. Everybody. Traditional and 3D. Everybody keep going.
And we'll leave it at that. We'll see you next episode, everybody. Say goodbye, Scott.
Oh, goodbye. I hate you.